There's footage right now that's going out there of about two women who were caught. Oh, you can see their name, one called Catherine, the other one called Louisa. And these two old women were caught by villagers in Nigeria. And here in this particular video, they were being banned from the village. Now, this is because during their examination and when they were testing them and stuff, there's no betting that's happening here. They just, when they banish people, they kind of like fly leaves over them and stuff. And these two ladies, why are we saying that they are witches? What proof do we have that they are witches? It's not necessarily what proof was brought out. It's the things that they started talking individually about themselves. They snitched on each other. It wasn't people that just speculated. Of course, there were rumors about them, about particularly these two grannies and stuff like that. There were rumors about them, okay? People suspected them in one area or the other and so forth. But that never really resulted into anything worth them being banned. It's what they, the two of them, what their friendship actually ended up going towards. And I thought that was quite an interesting thing for us to come here and have a conversation about. It's the Christianity Show with daily Christian commentary videos. If it's your first time over here, to be sure check out the other videos that are down in the pinned comments, and I'm going to check you out over there. The Bible tells us to provoke, not to get tired of provoking one another towards love. The reason why the Bible tells us this is because this is something that if we are growing in our journey, we will need to have as a reference point continuously. Okay? These two ladies are an example of what happens when we do not provoke each other towards love, but we provoke each other towards anger. So, what's the story before we get into the biblical lesson? So, these two ladies, old ladies here, they didn't directly confess to being witches. Is that the other person amongst the two of them said when they got into a heated argument, and then when the heated argument was going left, it wasn't just that one person said something and then it was left like that. No. One lady accused the other one of being a witch, and then the other one didn't wait for the other one to keep accusing her. So she then went and said, wait a minute, why are you accusing me of witchcraft when you killed so and so? The other one then responded and said, no, excuse me, I killed so and so, but you also killed that other couple. You killed a woman who was pregnant and so forth and so forth. These ladies were just bringing out each other's crimes. And people were listening when this was happening. When they were doing all this nonsense, right? When they were doing all these ridiculous things that they were doing in the community, they did them together. They motivated each other towards anger, and all went through to doing what they did. But now, when the ropes came to it, or when the subject came to it, they were now the ones that exposed each other. The other one knew who the other one had killed, and the other one knew who the other one had killed. And so the community took them over to the community shrine and stuff like that. And the community shrine said, no, this one, I know them. They're part of my WhatsApp group. And so after that happened, it was done with. After that had happened, it was done with. They had, the both of them had ousted each other. And the people that they were accusing each other of dying, some of them, the community had suspicions about them, to say that the way that person died, and particularly a woman who was pregnant, who one of the ladies said, no, but you killed that other lady, and so and so and so and so. These details then spread around the village, and these ladies were taken. And after the village shrine confirmed These ones are known members of the cult, and witches in particular, they were banned. And so I wanted to talk about particularly the type of friendships we find ourselves into. Like I said earlier on, the Bible tells us to provoke one another towards love, not to provoke one another towards anger. It's a key point right there. Now, the first verse that kind of brings up this particular ideas that of what kind of friendships we should actually seek to see. It's Proverbs chapter number 22, verse number 24 up until 25. It says, "Do not make friends with hot-tempered people," or a hot-tempered person in particular. It says, "Do not associate with one who's so easily angered." Now, that's the Old Testament. Before we would have the idea of discipleship and spiritual growth, so that we would know that these particular things that he's talking about are a result of a person not growing spiritually. If a person is growing spiritually, these things start to fall off. The behaviors start to line up to a certain thing. Now you'll remember, even in the New Testament, he even says, such people, this type of individuals, do not even eat with. Okay, so there is such a thing as an individual who, when you're looking at matters of faith, they don't make a reference for anything. You cannot use them as a reference because they make a very terrible example at that. And so here he says, Proverbs 22, he says, "Do not make friends with thingy." The New Testament will then explain for us the reason why is because these are signs of not growing spiritually. Now, if you go on, he says, the ending of that verse 25, it says, who is easily angered, and it says, "You may learn their ways and get yourself ensnared." And so you can learn bad behavior. You can learn terrible behavior. That's what the Bible says, if a person is thinking. Now, 1 Corinthians chapter number 15, verse number 33 would put it like this. It says, "Do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. It will defile." It causes defilement because now we start compromising on truth and all those kind of things. Proverbs chapter number 6, verse number 16. If you read it all the way to 19, it says there are 6 things that hate, and guess what one of them is? Those that have a lying tongue and a false witness. A lot of people that are into witchcraft, they have a false witness. They will hate you for something that they themselves could do for themselves, but because you are doing it for yourself, they would rather just hate and not have you doing what you have set out to achieve than for them to do it for themselves. They would rather have that than thinking. So you would learn those bad behaviors of not crediting good character, morals, or building self-advancement and stuff like that. It creates such a terrible environment. 2 Timothy chapter number 3, 1 up until 5. By paraphrase, it puts it like this. It says, "But mark them, they will be terrible times in the end." It says people will become lovers of themselves, and that's how a person builds up a hatred of a witch. They become lovers of themselves. And it says lovers of money, boastful, proud, abusers of things, or abusive. And then it says disrespectful to parents, ungrateful, unholy. So ungratefulness, mark of witchcraft. Because they're gonna appreciate what they have been afforded, or the beauty that they have in being able to advance themselves. They would just rather no one is doing anything. He says, "They're ungrateful, avoid such individuals." And the first verse told you why. You may learn of their bad behavior. You may learn of the type of things that they get themselves into. And in other words, I remember this particular saying that, snares, whispers create wounds. This particular saying, once heard this particular saying, and it highlights for you why By bad company, we can brew a behavior that can ensnare us, as Proverbs warned. It's because the kind of an environment you guys, the kind of conversations you guys get involved in. See, so now they were now just at an exposure thingy. They were just hitting each other. Yeah, you did this. You did this. Yeah, and you killed this. And there was at no point where they actually denied these things that they were accusing each other of. And the village saw it fit to say, you know what? I think enough is enough. We have to ban you guys. You know, they had to take them towards the shrine, the village shrine. And when they took them to the village shrine, the village god said, it is true. We're not here to validate the village gods. We're not here to validate the village gods. The most important piece of it out of this entire thing is company, the kind of company that we keeps us either upright or it gets us corrupt. It keeps us upright or it gets us corrupt. And you can see that's how these two ladies actually ended up in this particular situation. They started exposing themselves. They started exposing one another. It led to them being kicked out. Now, I didn't hear about family or the reaction of family and stuff like that. I only heard about the stories as the video was actually sent out to me. Is that these individuals in their influence towards one another, do not despise what kind of influence you have. What kind of people speak to you. It can create an enmity with God. It can create an enmity with other people's fellowship. The kind of fellowship you keep will affect things. Tell me what was done in the comment section. I thought this was quite poetic. They themselves, it was not just accusation. They started ousting each other. Yeah, you killed that other person. You killed this other person. You did this. And it just became that to and fro. Be careful of the kind of company you keep, because it will determine the kind of things you believe and also the kind of things you start to uphold. Bad morals, terrible morals can be found in bad company. Watch the people around you and the people you listen to. It's Ricky. See you on the next episode.